background to all of this is that in the 1980s, patients with haemophilia were infected with HIV and hepatitis C. And this was as a result of the fact that many thousand donors contribute to the production of products used to treat people with haemophilia. The problem was that in excess of 50% of people who were being treated at that time were infected with HIV or hepatitis C.
I'm the director for GS1 in Ireland. I took the job 4 years ago, and from the time I came into the organisation there was a very strong focus in healthcare, and that ended up with me looking at our colleagues in Europe and what they were doing in healthcare. And between myself and 4 or 5 other CEOs across Europe, we decided to really concentrate at a European level in funding some healthcare development work.
We're now still in a situation where we don't have an optimal supply chain management to the extent that it'll be used in non-healthcare sectors. And the idea that you can go down to your local shop and get your razor blades or whatever it is, and they go through a supply chain management program that is not currently in place everywhere for people who are in receipt of these products is amazing in its own right.
We actually founded the European Healthcare Initiative between us, and that's been working now for 3 years at a European level, working on the key issues of patient safety and supply chain efficiency across the whole spectrum from manufacturer to patient.
We needed a solution that would allow optimal supply chain management. In other words, allow us to know where the product is at any one moment in time so that we can recall it if we get information to say that it's defective. And secondly, to identify anybody who's received an at-risk product.
We started to talk to the various hospitals here as to what their needs were, because we thought we should talk at that level first, find out what the customer wanted, and then go back through the chain to see how that could be fulfilled. And just a little over 3 years ago exactly this year, we actually met Barry White for the first time at St James's Hospital, and it's fair to say he had a great vision.
The first real step in the process was to uniquely identify every single vial of factor concentrate that was coming into the country.
You could almost say he invented the idea of the serialised G-tin, because he felt that to achieve the traceability that he was looking for, he had to have serial numbers on every patient pack going to the individual patients that he was treating.
We will be able to identify each product not only by batch but by individual serialization, so individual serial number, so we can track a product right down to each vial.
You know, we always wanted to get to the point where we prove concept and deliver patient safety from manufacturer to the end patient.
The first phase of the project happened last year when we achieved traceability from TCP to the delivery to patient. The idea was that we could take that one step further and actually achieve the traceability, full traceability from manufacturer all the way to patient.
Domino's involvement in this project has been for the serialisation of the codes on the production line.
As a company, we specialise in automated online solutions, and more from now and into the future will be focused on integrating the software and the hardware.
Thereby enabling us to provide a completely serialised system of unique codes on the product that's shipped over here into Ireland.
It's been developed in a way that is very easy to communicate with the network.
This is one of the first trials where we've actually used EPC numbers, albeit in this case embedded in a data matrix code as opposed to an RFID tag, but followed the whole process right the way through from manufacture to the point of consumption, i.e. the patient, and all of the places along there in the supply chain. The data matrix code works perfectly for it. It contains more than enough data. So we've put a complete serialised G-tin on the box, plus the expiry, plus the batch information, all contained within a very small code.
But the clever part is actually linking all of this, particularly to the VeriSign EPCIS system, in real time.
Now there are other associated benefits, such as optimising your stock management, saving on wastage.
Patient safety, patient safety, patient safety. I mean, they're the top three. It has to be.
You can imagine having a handheld device that will run this application.
So what we're working on is some mobile technology that will allow us to read those codes and send the data back from the codes, process the data, and if necessary give a response back to the person, the patient who's about to consume the drug.
We've done the data matrix and that's case proven. We'd like to do the RFID.
There's clearly an advantage for RFID technology here for two reasons. One, because there's a lot of in-hospital movement of product. The advantage of RFID in having automatic scanning occurring when you move the product out of a fridge would be of great benefit. But the second issue is the temperature control. These products, a lot of them have to be kept between 2 to 8 degrees. And for us to have that as part of an RFID solution would be of great advantage.
Going to a standard approach could actually have significant impact in terms of savings for individual hospitals and for individual governments.
But there's also a benefit in tracking and tracing any single medication that's given to a patient. And there's no doubt in 5 years' time, you know, this conversation may seem to be ridiculous, that we would be talking about the need to implement something like that for a wide variety of disease groups. I think it will be the standard of care.